Well, howdy, NearlySeniorCitizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And indeed, today I am a sleepy little rodent. The reason I put that up there is I watch a couple pet channels. I like rodents. I really like rodents. I don't know why. Rats, though I haven't had rats for a very, very, very long time, like 20 some odd years, I enjoy rats. And I watched this one channel where they were just taking pictures of their rat sleeping a lot. And it was such a cute little rat. So I just had to talk about being a sleepy little rodent. And hopefully you too are a sleepy little rodent in the very, very best way. And hey, front-loading your videos, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very awesome. If you could leave me a comment, any comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And of course, I'd like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome. Without their help, I and whatever pets I have, right now just one, would be just hosed like Christmas monkeys. So thank you, each and every person who helps me out. And if you would like to become a patron, I have links in the video description to the Patreon. There are links to a PayPal for any possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food, and of course my post office box where if anybody ever sends me anything at all, I will open it up on camera for people. So thumbs up, thank you, and here's a hoping. Hey, front loading of videos over. Hokey smokes. Yesterday was a day. I went to the library to get some printing done because there was some money left in my November account and I didn't want it to just get wasted. So I went up and I did some printing. I'm going to hopefully get that stuff all put together today. That would be nice. I mean, if not, I'm not going to beat myself up. It's just fun to do that stuff. So I did some extra walkies yesterday, and that was good. And oh boy, when I went walkies last night, I have, because of various chronic pain issues, a lot of problems with just pain that means nothing at all. I have pain in my right foot if my shoe feels too tight. I have been walking where my shoe was so loose it was almost ready to fall off my foot. To make it any looser, it would have literally had been untied and would have fallen off. And my foot was still saying, oh my God, if you don't loosen this up, we're just going to rot. There's all sorts of blood supply issues. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. The shoe would have fallen off. There was nothing. And so I have that a lot. I'll have feelings of just intense pressure like my foot is going to break, and then I reach down and I can easily put my finger between the shoelaces and the shoe and my leg. There's no pressure anywhere that's painful, and yet my foot is just crying out in agony. Well, it was doing that last night, and I kept checking and readjusting it, and there'd be nothing. But I kept loosening it and loosening it and loosening it, and it kept getting sore. I was almost limping when I got home. Well, I'm limping this morning almost. On the front of my foot, just above the ankle, the muscles right there are really sore. They were complaining last night that they were under too much pressure. But there was no pressure, so I have no ideas what's going on. Yay! It's joyous being alive and older. One of the things I was thinking about, I have, as I've mentioned, a lot of pain going on in here in my hands and my fingers that I don't know what's happening, whether it's arthritis, but it's happening fast. Or, in the past, I have been treated for having gout. I have little nodules all over the toe joints of my toes, the joints, the knuckles, that are just little nodules next to them. Right here on like the edge of my thumb and such with some of my fingers here, I'm getting those little nodules. If I have gout, that could be gout pain in my fingers. And with my weird conditions, who knows how it's presenting. So, that's another thing to check on. Yay. Still though, I just thought I'd mention. Also, this is a weird thing to talk about and complaining about. There it was the artist Jackson Pollock, who used to paint interesting but good stuff. everything is, what is the word? There's a subjective. I had to remember objective so I could remember subjective. His style of painting changed incredibly at one point, and I have heard so many people just saying, "Oh, I hate this stuff. Why did he paint like this?" and just putting him down. It's like, "Oh, next thing you're saying it's going to be like a Jackson Pollock painting," and it's like, "Oh, putting it down." But the thing was, the guy had Parkinson's, and he couldn't paint the way he used to anymore. But he was still filled with that creative urge, and he discovered that if he worked with his Parkinson's, he could still create. So that modern stuff that everyone's putting down was him still creating, but working with the disease that was killing him. So when I hear people putting down Jackson Pollock, it's like, oh my God, you don't even know the story. If you even did, you would be so embarrassed by what you're saying. So I hear stuff like that, and that bugs me, so I just thought I'd mention. Also, here is something that I was watching just this morning in a video about, well, the channel is called We Are Top, but they were talking about amazing things that various critters can do. And there was a video of a spider that wanted to get a little bit of cool down time. I guess it was like Australia or something, but there was a shell that was on the ground. Well, would the spider want to hide inside that shell? Sure, but is it dangerous on the ground? Yeah. So the spider kept going from the web to the shell, putting on web lines, and then going back up into the web. And using its lines, it hoisted the shell into the air and then anchored it so that it could go inside and be safe hiding from the heat. It was like, oh my God. There are no such thing as dumb animals on our planet. Our planet is filled with creatures that are amazing in how they think, and amazing that they can think. And I've been watching a bunch of videos about jumping spiders especially. A lot of spiders can't see very far, but the jumping spider has eyes that are such that they could focus on the moon. They can look at you. Their eyes are really amazing. They can see the details looking at us. They have long tubular telescopic type eyes inside of their heads, and when they're babies, you can see them and how they move inside their heads so they can focus. They are just awesome creatures. And of course, the jumping spider, and especially the bold jumping spider, is one of those animals that they show in a very cute fashion because they are very cute. They act very inquisitive. They're very smart. I was watching this one spider that it saw something on the video and it just lifted up that part of its head so it could see better, and it just looked so amazingly cute. So thumbs up on that. Is there anything else that happened in real life that I wanted to talk about? No. I mean, there is, but I can't remember. Yay for ADHD. But I want to talk some more about my creative stuff, of course. Hopefully this does not bore too many people. I know most people have already clicked off the video, and when I do this, probably more people click off what few I have that watch. But for anybody that does, thank you so very much. I know there are many of you that do and like to hear it, so thumbs up, thank you. It is appreciated. This was about, there's a couple things, but I had finally figured out the beginning of the narrative on the cryptid stuff, because it too is a series of slice of lives into one long slice of life. One big piece made up of smaller disparate pieces like that. And I've been having to recontextualize how I'm going to do this for my whole Razor's Edge setting, because there was this one channel from a writer where this person says things not to do and how to make your opening of your book better. And of course, one of them is always in media res, and I'm saying it wrong, but it's, start with at least some action. Don't have exposition dumps. You've got to catch the reader. Which I don't want to do an exposition dump, but I'm trying to show how things are calm before the storm, and then the storm, as the kaiju rampages through Apple Rock, and then the rest of the story is dealing with that. maybe I need to start with the rampage, but you have to understand at least some of the setting. Otherwise, it's, if you start the movie with a gunfight, you don't know who the characters are. You don't care who they are yet. You've got one set of cardboard characters fighting another set of cardboard characters. Who cares? At the same time, I have been watching Adam Troy Castro, a science fiction writer, on Facebook, talk about how people have been trained for their attention spans, where there are people that literally, if the movie does not have just monsters knocking down buildings, it doesn't count as a movie. Dialogue, that's not important. In fact, the characters talk to each other and say, we're going to this place and we're going to do this. As they're doing that, he hears people turn to each other and say, where are they going? Why are they going there? They just finished saying it, but they're not interested in the dialogue because monsters aren't knocking over buildings. And so the movie-going audience and such has been trained to become, because if you see an audience go, oh, we don't like to watch this stuff, we want it shorter, and you keep doing that, eventually you've gotten everyone trained to the point that they've got half-second attention spans. And it's not their fault. You have been pandering to that, so that's all that's left. So that's what we've been dealing with and what we're facing with now, where if there's anything that's not just direct action, but there's any talking to give you information, the audience doesn't care. And again, it's not the audience's fault. That's how they are being trained and pandered to. So joy. I don't think that's ever going to change, especially not in the hyper-toxic, hyper-capitalistic world we live in. So thumbs up on that. But anyway, coming back to, if I can remember exactly no, I can't remember what I was talking about, but that ran. But still, oh yes, with the story on the whole Razor's Edge. In the cryptid world, I want to start off now, starting the narrative, where it is Jimmy picks up Polly, and he's wearing his James Dean type stuff on his motorcycle. He picks up her, and then they go and they find this guy, and the homeless guy is just walking when they drive up. And then Jimmy just tells him that, yeah, we're gonna eat you, and then just kills him and they eat him, and then they're just sitting underneath a tree watching the sky as all the compounds that you get in your body from digesting human meat, it just makes them feel euphoric. And that shows them the light that we're supposed to see the cryptids in, vile, horrific, monstrous things. And then the very next point you see them, of course, is from their point of view, where they're not horrific, nightmarish beings at all. I want to have that cognitive dissonance. It's that challenge of making the anti-hero likable, and I don't think I have the talent, but I'm going to try. As well, let's see what else I have on that. Yes. Just as a bit ago I talked about why for me it is so important that ghost-type cryptids who have no hope, that it is so important that they fall in love with an actual human being. And that, of course, is it becomes so much more painful for them when, with a 250-year lifespan of a ghost-type cryptid, when your human love, the only one that can see and interact with you, dies after 80 years and leaves you alone and grieving for another 120. Oh, that's so much more painful. So yeah, that's why that has to happen. And I make no effort to hide the fact that I think my cryptids are just better than us in every way, because I make a point of making them better than us. If they weren't shackled to us, they would literally be able to turn their society into a utopia that could colonize 1,000 galaxies, where they could solve and beat every puzzle, every issue, meet every need, answer every question they ever had. They are better than us in every way, because that makes it hurt so much more that they are shackled to us. that they are, because of we live in a human-centric system, that all of their potential and possibility is shunted back into their faces and driving them backwards. It makes the degradation and their humiliation so much more painful. So of course, that's why. Thumbs up for that. Driving that rusty dagger into the open wound and then grinding it hard. Yay! Now, I want to talk a little bit more, just a little bit more, because I don't have much time checking my clock on how much we're going here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Utokk, because Utokk, while I've talked about Utokk before, Utokk is one of those from their frame of reference. They're not that horrific, but from ours, of course, they are. Utokk is dangerous, but Utokk only has... They're looking for a specific type of person to feed on, and it's less than 1% of the entire population. But Utokk has webs that go out over 1,000 layers, and if anybody of that personality type comes across one of those webs, you eventually end up on Utokk's doorstep. Now, Utokk isn't going to reach out of the gate and take you. It has to be a voluntary, free will choice of yours to step into their domain. Which, of course, is a joke, because by the time you get there, you are so manipulated, you are so gaslighted, you are so catfished that you couldn't make a correct decision by this time if you wanted to. By the time you get there, you are no longer in control of your real desires and wants. So when you step over that line and into Utokk's domain, yeah, it's not really voluntary. But of course, if you do step over that line, well, Utokk gets you, and for the next 7 days, it's going to be horrific, because it takes that long to die. Because Utokk is one of those that, again, they don't hate humanity. In fact, they don't care about us at all, which is why they can be so horrific. They're not trying to help. They're not trying to hurt. They just don't care. So when they torture us horrifically, bringing us physically and mentally right up to the absolute breaking point, it's only to make us taste better. Because any other physical and mental condition that we are in when we are devoured, it's like eating dry, tasteless ground meat with only lots of salt as seasoning. Whereas when we are dying right on the very edge of physical and mental breakdown, that's like having prime rib cooked to perfection, just sizzling in a pool of its own juices, falling off the bone, seasoned perfectly. So yeah, Utokk just does horrific things to us, so boy, we taste good. With the conditions that they like to interact with the King in Crimson, they find themselves making steps of their own volition to appease the King. The King does not know exactly what and how they work, and they've got a whole cover story of owning their own domain and having citizens. They have none. It is all a lie. Utokk is, to our terms and references, a major edgelord and douche canoe. In their terms, of course, they're just trying to survive. One of the things that they have told the King that they are not going to do anymore, they're closing the doors to immigration for everybody whose point of origin is the inside, where the Crimson Kingdom is, the Apple Rock, Razor's Edge, and anybody from the outside. They will no longer accept immigration from any of these places, just to keep the King happy. Now, they're not really giving up anything. There are so many people, and even if they stopped harvesting for a year, they've got enough saved up that they don't need to hunt for a year. There's that much hoarded energy to keep them going. But they're going to stop doing that, which again is only cutting off maybe 0.5% of all that they harvest. So not really a hard thing to do, not a bad concession to make, but they make this concession of their own free will to make the King happy. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, well. We have Shinra. Thumbs up, thank you. Good to see you. Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Good to see you as well. Sylvia Wilkinson's Hokey Smokes. And I hope to be doing some For Against Darkness again here real soon. Start off maybe fighting the end dungeon boss, maybe not. I do want to go into new stuff, but I also want to finish playing with these characters. I'm not sure yet, but good to see you in the comments. We have JAYY, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. Good to see you. There's Flora Mew. Yeah, poor Blorbo. It was my own fault, though. I should not have done that. I rushed things. I was foolish. Very, very foolish. Christian Diaz, thumbs up. Thank you. And then we have... Well, and for Shinra, you are greatly appreciated. I'm glad that my voice, my talking, helps with your anxiety and your stress. And well, Adrian XJG, thumbs up. Thank you very much. Ben B, always good to see you in the comments. There is Chris, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. I used to act. I used to be an actor, stage acting, and then I quit. I didn't realize I had all the issues that I have. Thumbs up. There is Maddie110, thumbs up, thank you much. Jesse Koskinen, I really enjoy all of this hex crawling stuff and all of these solo RPG things. They are really, really fun. And that is it. 11 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciate it. Get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. If only for a short time. If only in text. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, I'm going to hopefully get some stuff done today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record anything game-wise for the channel. My headphones are just, they barely work right now. The short is so bad. I mean, I can't hear a thing through them unless I fight with it for hours. Well, not literal hours, but it's minutes and it doesn't last. So, yay. But still, hopefully you're going to get done the things that you would like to get done. That's very cool. And of course, just take appropriate precautions for your situation and location. Don't get sick. Don't get hurt. Just be careful. And of course, if you're out walking and you hear the mournful howl of that bus horn, the bus with your name on it, just hunker down, brace for impact, hope it doesn't hurt, because your corpse is going to get smeared over the landscape on impact. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.